Let's talk tips for passing the real estate exam. I thought that this might help as a little bit of a foundation as you get going on this course. Here are my top tips. And I know some of you might be a little intimidated because when was the last time you took a professional exam or an exam at all? It might be a few years. So let's get you back into focus again to help you pass this exam. The first thing I'm going to recommend is create a bunker. This is a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain to have your real estate license. I know that 60 hours might be seeming like forever right now, but it really is not compared to the longevity of your career. So create a bunker. I'm going to say, even with this as an online course, create a schedule for yourself. Actually get a calendar and put down what times you have available to work on this course. Again, you've got about 3,000 minutes, and depending on how quickly you work, it might be a little bit more. Like I said in the last video, that's okay. You do you. I care that you comprehend all of this. But I would create a bunker so that you've got a place to study, and I would create an actual calendar and set a goal of when you'd like to complete this. Next up is rest. Sleep is important. We are not in college. There is no such thing as needing to pull an overnighter. That's completely unproductive. But what I will say is when you schedule your exam, make sure that you do get some rest the night before. Again, I don't think that there's a need for any all-nighters like you maybe pulled back in the day. Don't rush the exam. You've got 3 hours total to complete the exam. You'll get 2 hours for the national and 1 hour for the state. Plan to be there the entire time. If you set an exam time at 9 a.m., don't have a friend call you and say, hey, you want to do lunch 11:15? No, you're busy until noon that day. You won't be able to meet them until, I don't know, 12:15. You decide. Make sure that you plan to be there the entire time. I do have a worry when someone calls and says, oh, Amy, I failed the exam. I'm so disappointed. I start asking questions. What was your score? How long were you at the test center? And how many answers did you change? And if you were only there for 45 minutes, we've got a problem. You literally maybe defaulted on the exam because you just didn't even take time to read the entire question. Okay. And I would say, don't rush it. Read carefully, which we're going to talk about here a little bit more. But don't give yourself undue pressure. Don't have a race. I know that you're busy, but take the entire time there. Process of elimination. I think on the exam, you're going to be able to eliminate a couple of questions right away. This is all going to be multiple choice. So when you're reading through it, you should be able to eliminate a couple of answers. And now you got a 50-50 shot, correct? So really do think through the process of elimination. The other thing I'm going to say with this is you might have some repetitive questions on the exam. That's very common. Don't let that freak you out. They're not asking you a question a second time because they think you answered it wrong the first time. The exam is not that smart. Okay, you're gonna take all of it and then they're gonna tally your answers and give you a score. They don't know how you're doing as it goes. So don't let that freak you out and let you think, oh, I must have answered it wrong the first time. That's why they're asking me again. Nope, you just happen to have an exam that you got multiple questions about the same topic. That's okay. And then, of course, allow time to review your work. Another thing about rushing the exam and process of elimination is make sure that you actually answer all the test questions. I know sometimes people mark things and think that they'll go back and do it later. And then you get to the end and you're so relieved to be at the end. You think, yippee skippy, let me get out of here. No, slow down again, use the process of elimination, but make sure you answer all the test questions. Up next is read carefully. there are a lot of questions that are going to use the word not or except. So all of the following are a fixture, except. Make sure you slow down and read that. A lot of the test questions I'm going to provide you will have the word not or except italicized or in all caps. And I'm spoiling you by doing that because at the exam test center, you're not guaranteed to have those things so obvious. So again, read carefully. The other thing I'm going to mention with reading carefully is sometimes as adults, we like to maybe not pay attention to the entire question when we read it. I'm not sure how else to say that to you. And here's the deal. I will admit, I like to read by bullet point, right? So I see something that's a long run-on sentence of a test question. I think B, let me just pick B and be done with it. No, please don't do that. Slow down and actually read the entire question. And I sometimes in my head even read it to myself dramatically and really emphasize the words. That way I know I'm actually reading them word for word. Keep it simple. Do not add extra details into the test question that aren't there. If there's a question about someone transferring a deed and they don't mention that there's a mortgage, don't create a mortgage that isn't there. And when I say that too, sometimes we put our own experiences into the test question based on what maybe happened to you when you bought and sold properties. No, don't add anything extra. Keep it simple and focused on what the question actually is. Okay. The next one is don't go hangry. Don't you love me? I'm telling you to have snacks before you go to the test center. No. As my mother would say, go fed and watered, which means you use the restroom. You're not going to get hangry, but you're also not going to dehydrate and have your blood sugar drop, okay? Maybe not the morning to skip breakfast if you're a big breakfast person. So I will say that if for some reason nature calls while you're at the test center, they do let you leave and use the bathroom. They will probably monitor you in some fashion because obviously they don't want me hiding out in there waiting for you so I can answer a bunch of questions for you. That would be cheating. So they will probably regulate it somehow, but it will count towards your overall time. So that's not something you definitely want to be in and out of the bathroom doing, and it maybe obviously could look suspicious at some point. Next up is be prepared to follow the rules. The PSI test center, and whether you're doing, and if you're doing the exam at home, they've got rules. You've got to follow them. This is not the time to be too cool for school. They've got certain policies in place that their staff is in charge of running so that we make sure that when you take the exam, you are the one that is actually there taking it, not me with a mustache or something trying to help you out. So they really do try to uphold the integrity of the exam, okay? So please be prepared to follow the rules. If you've got to be there at 8:30, this test starts at 9, they want you there 30 minutes early, be there 30 minutes early, okay? They obviously want to protect against fraud and cheating. Don't take it personally. They're just doing their job. And they can sometimes come across a little harsh. Again, don't take it personally. This is a new career for you. Don't let anybody steal your thunder. So I don't want something at the exam test center, like a confrontation over the hoodie that you're wearing, become a big deal and distract you from then passing the exam, okay? I don't want that to happen to you. So do go prepared to follow the rules. Again, they will have a sign-in process if you're at the live location. They will want 2 forms of ID, driver's license, credit card. I prefer driver's license and passport if you can, because those are both government issued IDs. You must have your completion certificate printed, not on your cell phone, printed for them to have. They will validate those things. They will take your photo. Then you can go into the test center, and all of your personal belongings, don't take a lot of extra stuff in. Those will get put in a locked backpack. And remember, phones off. And by phones, that also means maybe like an iWatch or whatever other products you might have. Make sure those are off as well, because I do know students that forgot that, and the test center couldn't see it because it was maybe below your sleeve. Their iWatch went off and they got escorted out of the test center and had to quit their test and go back and schedule again. Another rule that I'm going to put out there, and again, if this gets repeated in this course, I think it's worth it for you to hear some of these things multiple times. I do care about what you wear, not because I'm the fashion police, but no hats, no hoodies. Ladies, they don't like a lot of flyaway garments with a lot of pockets. Gentlemen, they don't like a lot of pockets for you either. So I've seen sometimes shirts with a lot of zippers here and on the side, and the gentlemen, they've had you take that off and then go sit in an undershirt, freezing to death in the test center, which can be very distracting, okay? So really be a little bit thoughtful about what you take in and what you wear. If you're proctoring from home, again, you're going to have a lot of requirements. You've got to have a room that is closed with a door so that no one can walk in. You can have nothing in the room: food, water, phones, fax machines. They'll have you scan the room. And they're even going to probably regulate if you're speaking out loud and talking to yourself. They're going to take that as something weird to them, that you might be talking to someone that can hear you, that's maybe helping you with answers. So just again, be prepared to follow the rules. We've got to have security in order to do all these things to maintain the integrity of getting a license in Iowa. Last but not least, I know I mentioned this in your welcome video. Schedule the exam as soon as possible. Complete it. I know you'll maybe want a little time to study, but most people have success when they get in right away and they have a chance to test before all the information starts to, again, leak out of their brain. I will say that if you go to the test center, let's say you do not pass both of the exams, or maybe you fail just one of them, whatever it is. Don't take that as defeat. You're still going to learn something. And sometimes just going into these unknown situations and learning a little bit about the process is still a win-win to help set you up for success the next round. So best luck. Of course, we want you to pass, but if you don't, do not give up. Keep going for it, okay? Good luck with the rest of this course. You'll be seeing my face again soon in an upcoming video.